Go.
All right. Happy Friday. If we're live, it must mean that it's Friday at 3 o'clock. And we're gonna get into some stuff. So I got a question. So one of the things that I've so talking to so I'm 47 years old, so I'm a younger Gen X, right? So talking to other young Gen Xers, guys that are a little bit older than me, guys that are younger than me, contractors, and I've gotten the feeling that they just, if they didn't have, it's like anything they do, whether it's their website or getting Google reviews or anything or social media, Facebook page, Instagram, it's strictly, and there's not everybody, but a lot of guys, men in particular, it's strictly like obligatory, right? They don't want to do it. They do it because and it's like, what's the bare minimum I have to do? And the question I've had people pose to me is like, well, do I even need to be online, right? Other
Mm,
than having a website that people can go and and maybe throwing up a few photos of some completed projects, right? Like, do I even need to have, like, can I just opt out of this? Because again, what people have said to me is like, well, I get all my leads from direct mail or referrals from, this general contractor, or getting, bidding to this general, bidding to this architect, bidding to this owner, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Where it's like, so I'm not even, I'm not getting leads from online. So you know, does it matter?
right. Right. So I have to jump in here because we're gonna get going on this. It's a passionate subject of mine. Let me be clear. Okay. So for 22 years of being in business, my mindset has shifted a number of times. And one of the biggest shifts that I ever went through answers this question. Okay.
Okay.
So my identity as a contractor, and this is where most guys, I'm going to say 93% of contractors that are out there, and I just use that as a figurative thing, have a mindset that their most important job is the work they do. Okay. I'm going to
Yes.
tell you that that is not that will never make you wealthy.
Uh-oh.
And here's a reason why.
It's a hot
Okay.
take.
Yes. So
It's a
I don't
hot take.
believe I'm a roofing contractor. I don't believe I'm a contractor at all. I don't identify at all. What is that? That's
Yeah.
that's the service that I happen to provide. Okay.
Right.
It's not who I am or what I do, because I don't do those things. Okay. And I know I'm gonna probably lose a few people here, and they're going to be, a little
Probably.
bit enraged. But let's look at it from this perspective. I got into business so that my business could serve me in my lifestyle, in my
Sure.
in my world, right? And what happened for 20 years, or well, not that long, maybe 10, 15 years of that, is I served my business. And the
Yeah.
reason I served my business is because I, again, in my own head, all right, made the wrong assumptions about what it was that was going to get me to being a successful contractor. Your mic is, got to fix your mic. There we go.
Better. Sorry.
And I came, oh, now it's really bad. Yeah, there you go.
It's one cable. Sorry.
Yeah. And I came to this conclusion. Okay. You take everything out of your business and look at what is it that makes your money and what's scalable. All right. Let's look at it. I'll tell you, marketing. All right. So being able to consistently generate interest in your business and generate leads, be able to do that with the least amount of effort possible. Okay. Marketing. Let's say that's one part.
Okay.
Sales, to be able to convert those leads into paying customers. Okay. After that, everything is an expense, including your job.
Mm,
So no matter how important you may be to your business and to the
right.
operations of it, you will not make a you will not make progress unless you are good at marketing and sales. And it's the only thing you can scale. And I put it to you like this.
Mm.
Could you go and sell 10 jobs in a day? Sure.
Oh,
You could have,
sure. Yeah.
right. Could you install 10 jobs in a day? Fuck no. Right.
Yeah.
So
Probably
so
not.
think about it
Right.
that way. So if I'm looking at being in business, I'm going to take the job that pays the most, right? To sell a job, I'm going to make 33% net profit. To do that job, I'm going to make 25 bucks an hour. So what
Right.
are you doing with your time, and where is your mindset at? Because again, if I had to go back and start from scratch all over again, I would never, ever, ever, ever put on the tool pouch or the bag again, because it made me no money. It
Right.
cost me a lot of time and it got me nowhere. All right. And the reason I did that and the reason I fell for that trap is because pride. I'm the best roofer out. I think we all come from a place
Yeah.
of that.
Sure.
And, again, you're proud of what you do and you figure you're, by doing the thing that you know best, is helping you get somewhere else. And it's not. All right. That's just an illusion. It's a pipe dream. Okay. And I know that's going to be hard set with some people. All right.
Right.
But the fact is, I did not grow and I never seen profit until I focused on marketing and sales. Okay. Marketing and sales was the only thing that I got freedom from. If I didn't fix those two things, forget operations, forget, having guys, forget all the things that you like, the end result that you guys want. If those things aren't in line and you don't know how to pull the levers and don't know how to, again, protect your reputation, grow your reputation, build a network, like do all of these other prospecting, things, good luck, right? You will forever be on the hamster wheel.
So I'm going to play devil's advocate and
Sure.
again, kind of go back to, so again, the business that I took over, they were completely analog, right? So they were, other than a website, that was it, right? And
Hmm.
even like the Google, I mean, it was, it was as basic as, and
Yep.
even that was like not, I would say not impressive.
Right.
So, so we did some things, and it was, and none of the leads. So here's the devil's advocate part. None of the leads were, all of our leads were coming in from, direct mailers,
Hmm.
relationship referrals, whether it was a general or architect or some owner or whatever, or getting hired or companies hiring us for commercial work. So, so, and that, and again, I would have to sit here and think, and go through all my relationships to think about even one that had what I would consider a substantial presence,
Hmm.
like across Facebook, Instagram, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And a great website and like a strong game as far as their Google reviews and so on and so forth. And and so again, playing devil's advocate, Jay,
Hmm.
it's I think a lot of men and women are both like, hey, I'm making money, I mean, and these
Yep.
folks, again, we were doing $4 million and we hadn't done a single, like, didn't have a single YouTube video,
Right.
like
Right.
so, you know what I mean? So I think
So
the argument or like the pushback is like, well, I'm making money and I don't do this stuff, so
so
why do I need to do it now? Like,
okay, so that
what's the rush?
and yeah, no, I love that. I love that angle. So tell me, how long did it take that business to get to the 4 million bucks?
Well, 40 years.
Okay. Right. So
40 years.
and let's just assume that some of those customers are an older demographic.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
In 5 years, would that business, if they did nothing and just stayed where they are, in 5 years, would they have the same customers?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, there definitely would be some different. Yeah, some of those
Okay.
folks would not be customers anymore. Yeah.
So again, we're coming to a time and place, and this is where really the mission of what we're doing here, and why I'm standing on the soapbox screaming this out to everybody, is that the game has changed. It's been changing for a while. It's not new, but we're
Yeah.
getting to a point where things are going to move faster. And people, because you can automate, because you can do all of these extra things and include them and do less work, the company that's doing everything manual and analog and stuff just can't keep up.
Right.
That's my point. And we're in a very loud place now. How many of you guys are, think about it. In the last 10 years, we went from, basically phone calls, right? That was all we had, to
That's a
we are
good
being
point.
flooded with information,
Yeah.
and the speed and the attention span that we have to move at are, the attention span's going down, the speed that we have to move is going up. So it's
Yeah.
gearing yourself up to deal with a hyper connected, you know, hyper, educated, information based client that is
Yeah.
going to
Good
expect
point.
these
Yeah.
things because every other market is doing it. So again, you can sleep on it. You can say, hey, maybe I don't need that now, but good luck. because there's going to be guys that come in that get these things right, and they're going to clean up because they can move 10 times faster than you can, and you just can't keep, like, what if you wait, it's just going to be you're going to be in a situation where it's too little too late, right?
I was going to say too, Jay. So, again, I'm thinking back to a lots of conversations, maybe a dozen or 2 dozen conversations I had with, again, guys I was, contemporaries with or bidding to, or they were bidding to me. And I think the fear or concern is, one, they don't know who's going to do it, right? Who's going to, so how do we add one more thing that doesn't have to do with work orders or production or bidding and estimating or, or managing problems or materials or inventory or whatever. So it's like, who's going to do that? Do I have to hire someone? So it's like, I think I got to come out of pocket for something that I don't even know if I'm going to get, like, it's going to pay off. And then I think, and that's probably the second fear. The first fear is, I don't, what is this? Like,
right.
Like what do I get from this? Right. Again, it's like, cause you know what I mean? And I think it's so hard to look, and again, I'm saying this, I don't believe this myself, but about this, but I mean, I know in other areas, you look at certain things that you don't understand, or maybe just haven't been on your radar or haven't caused you any pain yet. And it's like, well, I'll just punt that. I'll just kick that can, and we'll look at that later, so that I think it's a combination of both, it's not causing me pain right now, and it's not causing me pain, and I'm going to get myself pain, because I'm either going to have to pay somebody to do this, and potentially not get anything out of it. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like, there's no payoff.
Right. So, let's talk about specifically reviews and referral management. Okay. So I like this too. And believe me, I've done it the manual way. Okay. Learned my lessons there. And you're right. It would take somebody manually asking for the reviews, following up. Now, if you're in a service business or anything and you're not getting reviews, I don't even know how you're going to stay in business, because Google favors that. So the way that you get found on the search algorithms in Google, if you want to come up organically or pay even a reasonable cost, if you're not found there and you don't have good reviews, because what do people do immediately? Like the millennial, they go and check reviews. They're not just going to do business with you, right? I do that. Everyone does that. We've been programmed, and society has taught us to do that. That's how we validate if this contractor even gets a phone call. Okay. So if you're not doing that, now you can get away with it in the commercial without the reviews. And I know companies that are doing hundreds of millions of dollars that don't have hardly any reviews. And that makes sense in that position. But we're missing something very serious here. And I'll get to this in one sec. But for the guys that are doing service and direct B2C kind of, settings, or even some sort of B2B, and you have to keep a managed Google profile, this is the easiest thing to get automated. This is the easiest thing. And I mean, I'll go walk you through how our process works. It is simple. I made it so it's fail proof. Like, it gets triggered, it's getting done, it's getting followed up on. And I mean, again, I'll share some numbers with you guys in terms of how our system works. All right. And this is a done for you. Don't try and reinvent the wheel, right? You can easily get this off your plate and get yourself a quick win here by getting in touch with a company that has already built this stuff. Like, again, it's not difficult nowadays. And again, if your concern is more labor hours, I agree with you. This is something that can be independent of any other system or operating system that you have. And again, it's going to produce results guaranteed. It's the lowest hanging fruit there is. Okay. So, going back to, why and how do we do a thorough review, let's say. And a lot of us think about the end, the conversion part, where somebody goes online and gives your Google review, but they don't think of the whole prospect and the whole engage process and the whole courtship towards getting that review and the purpose of having somebody provide their feedback to your business. Okay. I have a different take on it. I'm going to share it with you, is that I, in fact, start planting the seeds for a review and for, feedback from my client the second that the contract is signed. All right. I make verbal agreements throughout and every touch point that we have on our client journey, okay, to mention it, to bring it up so that by the end, when we get to the job, they're obligated to finish out their contract and pay us, but they also have a, human to human agreement, which people still maintain, okay, that they're going to give this review. All right. Now, throughout the job, if you want to know where you're having problems and you don't want to make mistakes over and over again, ask your clients what their experience has been like.
Yeah,
Reach out to them. It's the easiest thing in the world. You can automate this. Hey, how are we doing so far? Give me a 1 out of 10. You will know if it's the setup, if it's the production, if you will know that information, and it can be done on every job, just like clockwork. Okay. The other thing it's going to do is it's going to prevent bad reviews. A bad review on your Google profile will cost you $100,000. Okay. A good one, easily 100, easily.
That's real?
Easily, yes. I am telling you, because what do people go and look for? You could have 100 good reviews, and what do they do? What do you do? They're going to go and look at what that bad review said. And that bad review, okay, although, how you respond and when you respond, all that stuff matters, okay, shouldn't have been there in the first place if you were good at what you do, right? And again, it can still slip through the odd time. So I'll talk to you a little bit about how to deal with it, because it does happen. I mean, I've had it happen to me where it's just like unreasonable.
Yeah, of course.
But if you are doing a good job with your clients and you're asking them and taking their temperature throughout the project, okay, and this goes for commercial and everything else, and you're collecting that feedback and they feel like you care, all right, you're already, even if they didn't have a good experience, they can trust you, and you're building that trust and rapport with them. Even if the job's not going right, you are independently lowering the temperature by asking. All right. The second part about this is to go back and do a review of a project. Well, how did the customer feel at this point? Okay, great. If you're looking at it at the end of the job, the guy was either happy or not happy, well, that doesn't give you much, right? That doesn't tell you a lot of information of where to go and look for the mistakes. Maybe it was in the sales process. Maybe it was, if you're not asking for that feedback, you will never know. And you're doomed to repeat the same mistakes over and over again. Right. So we make this a data process. This is a data-driven. And again, it's not new. It's been around for a long, long time. But what's new about it is that the way we ask and how efficient the ask is. So in our system, what happens is we give them an option. We send out a personalized video. Okay. In that video, we ask them some questions. We ask them 3, pretty standardized questions for our business. So it won't really help anybody out there listening, but we ask them 3 questions. Okay. Into which they can respond by text, voice, or video. Okay. And especially as we get to the end, we capture a video testimonial, which is 10 times more powerful than any written anything like that. People because again, think about where the age that we're in, that, we can see static fence, but that's not really telling the story. You can get a client to give you the story, and then using that review gives you unlimited, social proof. It's incredible. And the engagement on it, and how many times it gets clicked, how many times it gets downloaded. But you captured that without a lot of work. So once it's set up, it just runs. It gets sent out at certain points of the job, certain, certain triggers. And again, it gives you an opportunity to fix anything before an unhappy customer is produced, right? And we talked about customer satisfaction and keeping your customers happy, I think 2 weeks ago or so. But in the review part, this goes hand in hand, right? So as it comes through, let's say we do get a really happy customer, all right, and they give us a 10. Well, now we're going to push them through to our Google review to let them share information there on that. We've captured their testimonial, but what's next? Do we just leave it at that? And most contractors do. No, you don't leave it at that. You want to take your advocate, all right, somebody that'll put their hand up and be like, yeah, I know that guy. He does great work, to your promoter. Now you want to be like, hey, use this guy, they're the best. I'm going to go tell my friends, family, and my social media group that they should work with you. Now, big difference between the two. Okay. You can have a really happy customer that, says, yeah, you're great on Google, but now take them and ask them for referral and give them a little incentive, right? So for us, it's a $500 cash visa that we send out. If
500, really?
Absolutely. Wow. Here's why. I'm doing on average $40,000 price tag on a project. My cost right now is $1,586 per acquired customer, right?
Okay.
So that's the cost. If I'm paying $500 to acquire customers versus 15, I've actually saved $1,000 to
Yeah.
acquire a
Right.
customer more
Well,
likely.
yeah, it's a 65%
Easy.
discount. Yeah.
No
Huge.
brainer, right?
Yeah.
And
No
what does
brainer.
it
Yeah.
do the first time you send that out to that customer and they get that $500 reward? They're all of a sudden going, hey, you know what? Like, I have no problem recommending you to Uncle
From
Lynn.
a
Like,
contractor. They
right.
get
But again,
$500.
it's all automated in terms of how we process that. We can thank them. We treat this as a business transaction the same way we would follow up.
So you don't
and
have to have, so you don't have one of your people watching in the roofing
Zero.
business. They're not watching this and having to respond or
Zero.
hit an email reply.
Nothing.
All
It's all
happens like,
automated. And again, these are the systems that we built. They're just smart. It's taken us a long time to get them to work like that. But
yeah.
once you've tested, tested, like, does this work? Does that work? We skipped all that stuff. We've built it. We know it works. We've tested it in my own business. It works like clockwork. And here's the beautiful part. Okay. It takes advantage of something that I don't think many contractors even have a clue about, is how do you combine and create a customer that has significant LVL, right? Lifetime value. All right. Is you have to keep in touch with them. You have to keep chatting with them. Well, what are you going to chat with them about after you finish the job? Right? Do they need other services? Do they know someone that needs other services? Hey, here's this tip, here's this trick, here's this, you've got to continue to build a community around your business. And when you do that, you are going to find that your business will grow significantly, and that cost per acquired customer, and gets back to my marketing brain working now, but the cost, the number is so significant. If I know that it cost me $1,500.27 or whatever to acquire one customer, okay? And I put it in at the top, right? So say 1527, and I'm getting back, $12,000-$13,000 for that. It's like a 4-to-1 return, right? In profit.
Substantial.
How many times would you push that in? How many times would you sit there and just keep putting in your dollar to get back for?
As many as you could.
Right. So again, what you want, you have profitability. So again, these levers are ways that you reduce that cost. So if I now only have to put in 50 cents and I'm getting back 4, well, it's just math, right? Like, again, I'd want to put 50 cents in, not the dollar, right? So when we think about things that way, it becomes a lot more valuable to a business to really protect those online reviews. Because again, I'll tell you exactly what's tied to that online review. First of all, Google is still, if you want to be searched or found anywhere, it's going to start on Google. Okay. In every position of the sales funnel, Google is, whether they're researching, whether they are, actively looking to buy, all of that. All right. So your presence there, you're going to be seen by your prospect, and immediately that starts off the chain of events that is going to happen. And I'm telling you, if you have a shit 3 or 2 or whatever, like, don't worry about marketing. Don't worry about marketing.
Start with your Google reviews.
You may as well, and it takes no extra effort. What it does ensure, though, and what Google is pushing for, is it gives you a data-driven decision to the buyer, right? Can this company be trusted? Yes or no, right? So again, here's some tips that I have I want to share with everyone. Is when you do get a bad review, and it will happen, okay? The way you respond and how you respond is equally as important as the bad review, okay? And I'll explain to you kind of where my mindset is on. I have had customers I never did business with. Okay, so somebody that we refuse to do business with, and if you look at my Google review, there's 3 of them there. All right, and I'll own them. Okay, and I know everybody looks at them. I know they go to them and they see them. All right, but I never did business with these people. I could have been rude or called them out on that, but I didn't. I thought very carefully of being in a giant arena. All right, the 2 of us are ready to duke it out on the field. Okay. What position do you want to be seen in? Okay. So do you want to be the company that comes out and starts attacking somebody else and name dropping? No, you own the thing. You make sure the facts are clear, right? Hey, Mrs. So-and-so, you're right. We did refuse to do business, and we apologize to you for that. We have a strict criteria on X, Y, and Z, right? I am, if you'd like to take this offline, I would be happy to discuss the situation with you further. Like, again, you're responding properly to that review. So when customers see it, they're like, oh, that guy's an asshole.
Right.
You didn't even do business with him.
Right.
Does that hurt you or help you? And let's say it is true. Let's say it is absolutely true. You fucked up, own it. Say that you own it. I've gotten
Absolutely.
more
Yes.
comments about how I've owned something that went bad. And you know what? You know what else it's led to? I've had, and I'm not proud of this particular one, but we had a truck that was leaking diesel fuel, and my guys parked it in somebody's driveway, and we, caused some serious damage to the driveway. But I didn't get back to, he paid his bill. And there were these stains, and I didn't get back to him, and I was kind of dodging. I was really busy, no excuses. He got pissed off. It was like a month down the road. I had full intentions to just send a company back to recover his driveway and everything else, but I didn't. And that was the point. Right. So he, lo and behold, he puts in this review. He's really pissed off, everything else. I'm like, you know what? You are absolutely right. I made a mistake. I'm going to reach out to you right away. I am so sorry. Let's fix this. And I did. I followed through. I fixed it. He took the review down, right? So had that review stuck, but again, this was over the course of a few months. And at the time, I didn't have a ton of reviews. So again, it sticks out like a sore thumb.
Right.
I got more comments about, well, I'm glad that you went back and seen them. Like, there were people commenting on the review. So you want to treat everything that way. All right. You got to show your human side to it. If you made a mistake, own it. All right. Make it right. Encourage the homeowner to take it down. And if you can't, all right, your response that's going to stick to that review is very important. Okay. Right. So, but, and again, from learning from those mistakes, one thing that I've realized is that, hey, if you're going to put a person in charge of that, you're going to get busy and it's going to get forgotten. Right. Don't put a person in front of that. That is a low level job to do that you can automate now these days, and you're going to get an exponentially higher result. Because again, if you just automatically do these things and they're not thought about, well, that's one less thing that we have enough that we have to think about. We have enough distractions and stuff in the world. Review process should not be one of them, right? So again, think about that. Think about using reviews and positioning them earlier in the client journey so that nothing escalates to Google, right? Provide good customer service. We've talked about that, right? And then when it's done, let's get clever about how we sell giving us a referral, okay? So again, like I said, it becomes a lot more valuable if you are acquiring new customers for $0 or very cheaply, all right, by offering an incentive. And then it gives you, again, permission to reach back to that client at any point and touch base with them. Give those nice little touches, give them tips, Christmas cards, birthday cards, whatever you're going to do. And people appreciate that. Okay. No matter what, you appreciate it. I appreciate it. Like when somebody reaches back and you've done business with them and you were happy with the service and they continue to keep in contact with you, are you ever going to be like, hey, I don't want you to contact me anymore or anything? No. And if you condition them to give you a review every time roofs come up, bam. And here's one last thing. I swear that's it. Okay. Here's one last thing. Fine. This is the granddaddy of all of my tips that I can give you.
Wow.
People think that you ask for a review or you ask for the referral from clients you've done business with. No, you ask for the referral when you lose the job, when you lose the project, when you, what do you have to lose at that point? So I want to share something with you that you may not know. Because I've systemized and thought about the journey. So let's say I give somebody a quote and I've exchanged energy, my time, right? For value. And that value was my quote. Why would I not see if I could ask them if they knew anyone? Maybe my price was too high for them, but it's not too high for Uncle Ed, right? And Uncle Ed, and because I went through a proper sales process, I know that I delivered the first expectation. When I got to the convert, it didn't convert. Okay. Is that customer just somebody you just abolish and never talk to again? Hell no. We've exchanged value. He knows me, I know him. So is it okay for me to ask, hey, maybe you don't know, maybe this one didn't work out, but let's keep in touch. Let's, maybe if you know somebody that's looking for 13% of my volume of leads comes from people I never did business with.
Wow.
13%.
Holy
so
cow.
So anybody that's
Jeez, oh
sleeping
man.
on this, all right. So now I've taken my cost per acquired customer and I've lowered it again,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, and here's the other part. I've also gotten other work. Okay, so maybe I didn't get the roof, but I got the troughs. I've got the other things. And when I ask them about their other contractor, it's like, oh yeah, he was okay, whatever. Why does they remember me, right?
Yeah,
That never did the roof or the work and
right,
refer me out to the. It's because I asked.
right.
Nobody asked. Like, do you not think that people would recommend you if they had a great experience and they trusted you and you did a good job in the sales process? And let's say your price was too high. Okay. And it's not going to be everybody, but it's going to be a percentage. And all of a sudden you're like, hey, you know what? That's fine. I get that. But if you do know somebody else that's looking for a roofing project, I've got this offer for you. Right.
So we're
Bam.
doing all this. So, you know, we're doing all these things to attract the right customers,
Right.
close those customers, get them to a contract.
Mm-hmm.
And then, and then it's like it's that last part where we're not
Correct.
getting a review, we're not getting a testimonial,
And
we're
that's
not
just
asking for a referral. And so going back to what I was asking a few minutes ago, so or sharing I think I mean, because I've had dozens of conversations with other contractors about this, and it's like the first thing is like, I don't know. It's like, it's a pain in the ass. I don't know how to do it. I don't want to pay someone to do it, and I don't know how I'm going to get money back. How, where do I see this? Where do I see this in revenue? And the answer is, if you have a 1 to 3 star on Google, like
mhm.
one, if you're doing any marketing at all using Google, you're getting hammered on that. Two, people are never calling because they see that and they're like, I'm not calling that guy, or I'm not calling that one,
Right.
or I'm not calling that company. And then there's an opportunity as well, because you take your Google review ask and you pivot to a video testimonial ask, and then ask for referrals. So you do it all. That's all a part of the same process.
Exactly. And again, it segments my list, right? So let's say for me, and this might be a little bit more advanced, but there's paying clients and there's non-paying clients. Okay. There are
Okay.
clients that are non-paying that gave referrals, right? So who am I going back to and to personalize the
Sure.
messaging?
Yeah.
And this is how advanced these systems are and where AI kind of comes into all of this. If you have that data in your CRM and you know that they've opened those emails, they've sent that to a friend, they've posted on their social media.
Oh yeah, sure.
Now you know how to personalize. Hey, you know what? Last year you gave us a referral and we wanted to reach back to you and thank you very much for that. We're just wondering, if we could remind you of a great, offer we have this year where we're offering 550 or we're a stack challenge. If you refer us to 3, we're going to give you, $750. People are going to open those emails and you're
Right.
building a sales team that is, again, you cannot
It's a
acquire
really smart way
new
to think
business that
about
way.
it. Yeah, like it's like a virtual sales team of
That's right.
of fans that never bought, but they're referring.
That's right. And again, there are people so think about selling to a salesman, right? He's interacting with people all the time. He
Yeah.
probably, again, the opportunity. So when you prospect somebody or you have somebody come through your funnel, again, they don't have to do business with you. But
Right.
what they have done is you've basically, by giving them a quote, all right? So think of a quote as your high price bribe, okay, for their contact information. Okay. So they interacted and they've committed to you, right? It's actually, again, it's a form of commitment that they give you contact information. And for me, contact information is money in the bank. That's where I lower my costs per acquired customer. That's where I
Hmm.
get conversions. That's where, when I look at it that way from a marketing mindset, okay, is that I've got permission to reach back to them with great opportunities, other offers, other things that can go back to them. And listen, we easily convert 40% out of our CRM just in past customers. I have,
Wow.
50,000 contacts. If the market's slow, if, like, again, you talk about recession, all these things, I'm not phased in the bit. That's another
Right.
lever that I pull at certain times of the year and I get back like squeezing money out of it. And it just like it's going right into my
Well,
pocket. And I'm
Jay,
going,
I
well,
mean, hopefully tell me if it's okay to say this, but you're actually up this year, right?
Oh yeah, we're
Over last year. A lot of
well
guys,
up.
I mean, people are struggling and you're up substantially.
Right, but
I mean, I'm
here's
not
what they
going to say
do.
numbers, but I mean, it's
Yes.
been a very good year so far.
Well, and here's why. Okay, and I'll spill the tea on this. I'll tell you exactly why I'm up. Is because other guys and other companies, well-known companies, are like, oh, the market's slow. I'm going to pull back my marketing budgets. I'm going to. It's not. Here's the funny part about it. It's not that money's not being spent. Less money's being spent, yes, but the people who had people that were out to look for your service and look for your products, they're still out there. They're
Right.
still waiting. Here's more than you could ever possibly do. All right. And I've always looked at it this way. We're in a world of abundance. There's never been more opportunity.
Mm,
It's never been so easy to go get your ideal customer day in and day
right.
out. Okay. Now, when it slows down, okay, how many levers can you pull to improve that result? So again, for me, it's 2 extra levers that I'm going to pull a little bit more frequently
Yeah.
to offset that. And what ends up happening is the guys that didn't have the levers and they only had one source of leads, let's say it was referral, and the people all of a sudden aren't spending money anymore, and their well goes dry, their lead flow goes dry, or they were relying on PPC entirely, which you should never do, right? You should only ever rely on a lead source of 20%. If more than 20% of your leads come from one source or the other, you need to diversify the lead source, because that is a ticking time bomb, and it doesn't matter. It happens over the course of time. I'll share something with you. I accidentally, and this is embarrassing, but I forgot to, well, I didn't forget. I got notified by Google Ads that I had to they've got a new program that you have to like submit your articles of incorporation, all your numbers and stuff, right,
Okay.
to Google. They had sent me the notice. They'd sent me the notice, and I know again, this is so bad. And I didn't do it. So Google responds to me and says, hey, it's taking a little longer than it should. We're just going to freeze your account until you get that stuff uploaded. So I uploaded right away. For 2
Right.
weeks, I've got no PPC campaign at all. 2 weeks gone. That's the penalty for not doing what Google
Wow.
says.
Yeah.
And it was a 2-second deal. Driver's license, articles of incorporation. That's all I needed to do.
Yeah.
But again, just in my fog brain, in my my busy life, I neglected it. Okay.
Right.
And by the way, anyone else that's out there, heed warning to that. Like when Google asks you for something, you get it to them, right? So because they
Right.
don't care about your business, or like you're not going to intimidate them. They don't give a shit.
Right.
Okay. So the slap is the slap, and Google loves the slap. Like smarten up, right? So I lost my PPC campaign for 2 weeks for a business like mine. That that hurts. That's one whole
Yeah.
sales rep that relies on those leads. What do you think I
Ouch.
did? What do you think I've been doing? Okay, salesman, we're going to go and we're going to personally call all of the people we did business with last year, and we're going to touch base and say hello. All right.
Mm.
We're going to talk about our we're installing gutter guards. So that's our
Yeah.
campaign that we're going to run. And we just want to reach back to everybody that we installed roofs for to see if they need snow guards or gutter guards. Right. Easy stuff.
Yeah.
You've got those contacts. You have the permission to contact them again. But contractors get way too busy thinking about getting the work done, getting more
Yes.
jobs, managing the jobs, doing all that. Listen, when you get your marketing right and when you get your sales right and you know your numbers, those 3 things in order, right? I know how to price a job profitably. I know how to pull a lever and get leads, and I know how to convert those sales, even mediocrely, like let's say 30%. Like most of them would be a lay down sale if you get your marketing right.
Right.
It doesn't require you to hustle. Number one, so you have more time. You have more, like I'm sitting in front of you, having this discussion right now. I haven't been inside my business all week, nor do I plan to get inside my business and work inside of it. The reason
Right.
I'm not going to do those things is because I know that the big things are we've got lead flow, we've got conversions, sales are being made, jobs are getting done. And I look at it as a system, um yeah, like as a complete system, right? And all those little pieces inside, if something goes left, let's say all of a sudden leads start to go slow, right? Okay, no problem. I have 9 campaigns or 9 activities that I can do. Mailers, PPC, Facebook campaigns, like all of that stuff, right? I've set up and running those. I can pull any one of those levers or put more money into the bank. Maybe this month, because I screwed up with Google, it's going to cost me, $2.50 to acquire a customer and get back $4 instead of, oh, big deal, right? Sorry.
So if you didn't, so again, I want to relate this to the people that are watching, and
Mhm.
so we've got a lot of folks out there doing 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 10, 12, 15
Mhm.
million in revenue, and and they're kind of feeling that little bit of that heat and the light from that heat lamp,
Right.
there's some of this stuff. They're not doing a lot of this stuff. So if you did not have the presence on Google, the presence on social website, I've seen your website, it's bomb. If you didn't have those things, how would that impact what you're talking about as far as how you market, marketing, getting customers, getting leads, getting those closed? Like, how
Mhm.
would that impact that? You know, would it knock out 20% of that, 30% of that?
Yeah.
I mean,
So,
how would that impact your business right now if you did not have those things?
so I'll put it to you like this. Okay. So one of my campaigns, one of them, so my direct mail campaign, again, on average, we're seeing a 4-to-1 return. Because direct mail, by the
Wow.
way, for anyone that's sleeping on direct mail, if you get good at direct mail, and direct response marketing is really what I should be saying here. Okay. Because it
Yeah.
doesn't really matter. That's just the
When you
mechanism.
say direct mail, do you mean like physical mail, or you're just
Yeah.
saying all
Yeah.
mail? Physical mail.
No,
Okay.
physical, like direct mail, but direct response marketing. So a lot of guys make this big mistake, and this is a capital mistake, is that they get into brand marketing. Okay. And I think it's important that we touch on this. Is brand marketing is like what Coca-Cola does. There is no call to action. There is no
Right.
direct thing that you're supposed to do next. There's no thought about the journey. They just literally spend $3 billion a year to know that everybody knows the brand Coca-Cola. Okay. And you see it all over the place. Like, okay, great. They have $3 billion a year to spend on brand marketing. You do not. So when you
Right.
think about your marketing, you have to be a lot more laser specific on who, what, where, when, why, and then what is it that you want that client to do, right? So we start off by thinking about a client journey, right? Like the prospect receives the direct mail. Great. Gives them some information. Maybe it's a flashy photo, but what are they supposed to do next? QR code? Okay, great. They're going to get an instant quote. Perfect. I didn't waste their time. It's an instant quote, right?
Yeah.
That might be your lead magnet into getting them to do something, right? So again, I always try to reference people back. Everyone knows the infomercials, right? The ShamWows
Sure.
and like, but wait,
Yeah.
we got another. You want to think if your marketing is saying that and selling thousands and thousands of your product or service, or is it, hey, I'm Jay the roofer,
Yeah.
and then just sit there and stare at your prospect? What is your marketing saying? Or is your marketing, because a lot of guys are disconnected, they give it to an agency, they do whatever, but they're not really thinking about what the avatar and the type of client they want to do business with is. So
Right.
for us, we knew, and again, I'll drop another huge secret here. Okay. When there's a recession, the first market to get wiped out is your middle class. Okay. And that's what we're
Right.
seeing. It's been under
Right.
attack for a long time.
Yeah.
But those guys were buying value during COVID. They are not buying value anymore. They are buying price, right? Because they
Yep.
just don't have the money that they did during COVID.
Right.
So all of us, and me included, were conditioned to try and think that the middle market were the ones that where all the money was produced. That is just not the case anymore. Okay. That middle market is crushed and they're not going to recover for a long time. And the way I'll put it to you is that if they were sitting on $160,000 nest egg, right, their RSPs or whatever they have, their investments, okay, they are getting destroyed. So they've lost, in some cases, 50% net worth. Right?
Right.
It's gone down and it's going to take another 10 years to get back up to the point where they feel confident or comfortable to spend like they were. Okay.
Right.
The lower end of the market, which you should never be in any, unless you have a really cheap product and like something, but they're not affected because they didn't have any money. Now they don't have any money after. No big deal. The higher end of the market, which is people with a net worth, we're going to say 1.5 million above. Okay. They're not as badly impacted. And I'll explain to you why. If somebody has $5 million in their bank account and the market drops 40%, big deal. Their lifestyle has not changed one iota
Right.
because they're not using their income or they're not using their day-to-day
Yeah. They're
expenses.
right.
Yeah, it's covering all of
Investments.
it's covering all their expenses. So yeah, they've lost some money, but it's just figurative. They're still spending the same way. Maybe they slow down and think about it. you want to think, we call these high rollers. For us, we traditionally only sell to high rollers. Okay. These are people that have high net worth. Okay. They're not worried about money. They're worried about value. Okay. They want to make sure that how they want their job done. They don't want to have headaches. Okay. And again, trust, image, all those kind of things, but it's the way you communicate that, right? Are you an old fashioned, pay attention to the details company, or are you, I'll give you a free quote today? Which one is more appealing, do you think, to, somebody that's concerned about what quality? They'll spend money. They're happy to spend their money. They want something that is, higher value. Yes, absolutely. But I'm going to communicate. And that's what direct response is all about. Direct response is about knowing who you want to attract, who you want to bring to your business, like who's actually going to respond, and is it speaking their language, right?
So you said something earlier too, Jay, I want to go back to. You said, and I'm going to paraphrase it and tell me if I've gotten this right. You said that essentially, yes, of course, we're not talking about this business, but your roofing business, it's a roofing business, and you're putting your, repairing, replacing roofs, et cetera, and other, similar scopes of work. But you said, and I'm going to paraphrase, you said that essentially you are a marketing and sales engine functioning as a roofer, right?
That's just the product
selling roofing, right?
Right.
And I think that's probably, I'm just gonna, that's probably a lot of people are not there, right?
No.
And that's probably why. So then I'm just going to try to connect some things here. So because you see yourself and now your employees who are running your business for you day to day, because you see them as, a marketing and sales engine that sells roofing, right? And roofing products. It's easy then because you're looking through that lens, you're like, well, what do we need to, what are the critical things here, right? What makes us better as a marketing and sales business,
Correct,
right, that sells roofing? And then you look at your online presence, you look at your social media, your website.
Those are my assets.
And then you go, and you're like, okay, well, if it doesn't do this, then it costs me money. It's going to cost me either in like not getting the right kind of leads to my route to the, to sell roofing. And so it's, by thinking about yourself like that, there's no way you wouldn't focus on your online presence, Google reviews, optimizing those when you ask for them to then get a video testimonial and then get a referral, or then getting a referral sure. When you do right.
If your only job, and this is where I think contractors get lost. And by the way, I want to just make this clear, that mindset took me decades of hard, hard. I wish it doesn't, you don't just be like, I'm a sales and marketing company. No, you have to, you have to earn those stripes. And some people start off, and it amazes me all the time, but here's lots of people that come into these businesses that never did the actual job. They don't know anything about it, but they're successful. And I've got tons and tons of cases of that, right? So, I mean, ultimately, this is a mindset shift that has to happen in your brain if you want to grow and scale the business. There's no way around it. If you can't create a machine that sells and markets consistently, okay, and you think you can get by on just doing the work, you're wrong. And again, there's no other explanation for it. And again, when we get back to why we would talk about marketing, why you need to know it. Now, you don't need to be an expert. It's a passion of mine and I love it. And you know what? I bring a lot of value to people by sharing this stuff, but you don't need to be a marketing expert like me. You just need to know that those functions are important and invest in it like it's an investment in your assets. Okay.
Right.
So I'll give you a good example. We all know what a home is to buy, right? Are you going to let your bathroom deteriorate and your kitchen deteriorate and, all the functions of the house,
of course,
and then expect to get full value for that? No. Right. So again, when we think about marketing, those are the physical features of your business. Those are the assets that when you go to sell or when you want to create a revenue, all right, if those assets aren't taken care of, right, and they're not invested in,
they're not going to perform.
That's right. You're not going to get back. You're not going to get it back. So, and again, you can look at it that way, is that you're investing, and this is a key word, Can you invest in learning more information about how to install a product? Sure, right? And most people do, most guys do. But where are you investing? What, investing in more tools and equipment and stuff to do the
Yeah.
jobs, right? We invest
Right.
there.
Right.
How many of us are looking at, well, great, I've got all the tools, I've got all the equipment, I've got all the, everything else that it takes to run the business, but I refuse to spend, and I hear this all the time, I love this part, I refuse to spend 5% of my revenue on getting more work. And I don't know why
Right.
I can't grow. I don't understand why all of a sudden I had all this work and I just died. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't understand, because you're not thinking about it properly. And I'll give you another, I know we got to wrap up pretty soon, but I'll give you
Yeah.
another benchmark that you should follow. Okay. If you want your business to grow, and you want to grow in a very fast, quick way, all right, put 8% to, I'd even say as high as 15% of your revenue into marketing. Okay. You're going to grow exponentially fast.
That's pretty bold. That's a pretty
That
bold
is,
statement,
hold on.
Jay.
Absolutely. And then again, I'm going to put a disclaimer on that. Like,
Okay.
there are some exceptions to it. So you're going to do it with discretion. If you want to grow, year over year, 10 to 15, 20%. All right. My magic point has been 5 to 8%. Okay. If you want to just sustain business, okay, just stay where you're at. Just keep the ball rolling and you're comfy where you are, 3%. Okay. If you are not spending that, all right, get ready to hustle. All right. Because that's all it's going to be.
Right.
If you can, and you're out hard selling people,
point.
hard, you're not getting the conversions, you're giving out a ton of bids and you're not getting jobs. Like, that is because you have failed at making the investment that is important. And now you must hustle. So either you buy your way out, right? And that's by good planning and, good marketing and purchasing, quality product, just like anything else, right? Or you survive by hustle. And I guarantee most contractors out there are just pure hustle. I see it every single day. Not too many.
Oh yeah.
Not too many. And even again, you might get to 4 million, but it took you 40 years because you had to hustle, right?
Right.
That is what I see day in and day out. But then on the other hand, I have contractors I'm super proud of that, have worked for the last decade and only in the last 2 years have made over $1 million in profit. Why is that? What happened? They figured out these golden things. Like, hey, you know what? My responsibility is not to getting the jobs done. That is a hourly wage job. If you are in the field, again, it doesn't apply. Take it with what I'm saying. Like, can you just abandon the job and just hope it gets? No.
Of course
okay.
not. Right.
But you need to be working yourself off those tools as fast as you can and moving yourself into the position of, marketing sales manager as quickly as you can. Right.
So,
and getting those things working.
So final thoughts here. So
Sure.
Marketing. So, and I think we're going to be talking more about this over the next few weeks. So this is a little bit of a, maybe like, what kind of a look into what's to come. So as far as, so if we're looking at like, okay, so, because that's a big, again, I think that's one of those things that like people start to glaze over when you talk about marketing and sales, especially when folks aren't good at it, or like, again, it's, a lot of guys, especially if someone started off and they were on the tools and they were the business, and then they hired a couple guys, now they got multiple crews. I think a lot of folks, that's overwhelming to them. And so to kind of bring it all the way back to where we started then, so if we want to build an engine that looks like yours in your roofing business, where we need one of the places to start as far as like to get quick wins, easy wins, and just to get more leads that, people that are like clicking away because they see that we're a 1 or 2 or 3 star. It's Google reviews, and it's like, do the basics as far as like start to like, because like, again, I was overwhelmed. We were doing almost $4 million and we, had literally nothing, like no social. I mean, we had a Facebook page, but like nobody was on. I mean, we didn't do anything with it. It was there. It was like, just land. There was nothing on it. So and we just basically started doing like, just started blocking and tackling. You actually were coaching me at that time, and you
Mhm.
showed me how to like get Google reviews and like get good Google reviews. And then we
Right.
started getting a lot of them. And then magically we got more calls, and like,
Right. I
it's
know.
crazy how that
Free calls
works.
too, like free.
Yeah. And we didn't have to, yeah, we didn't have to pay for them. We just got calls from search.
Right.
And so as someone who's gone through that process myself, I can say I'm empathetic to like being at the bottom of the mountain and looking up, like, and being
Mhm.
like, oh my God, like, and just feeling like, where do you start? And so where you start is start with your Google reviews, and just
Yep.
start and just start there and just set an outcome for it, and then build that. And then you're not going to, so I'm going to say this, and if I'm wrong, correct me, but
Mhm.
you're not going to build your system day one, right?
No.
Start with Google reviews, get great at that, and then you start like adding different things. Because by the way, you're going to be asking one of your team to do it, because it's mostly owners in this group, and they're going to be
Mhm.
overwhelmed. They're and they're going to freak out. It's not going to get done. Then you're going to be pissed off at them, and then you're going to and it's this negative loop. So because I think again, I know where we were doing $4 million in revenue, and by the way, making money, but like having all this stuff, it was just going out the back door, right?
Right.
So um where does somebody that's in a similar position I was in 4 years ago, where do they start, and can we
So
help, and
yeah.
where do they start?
So again, here's a couple of ways. Number one is obviously that at Contractor AI will build you the pro. So if you're at the position where you want to just get this off your plate, have it set up, give us a shout. We'll do that for you.
So we can just do it.
We
We
just
have a
drop it in. Yeah,
system to
it's
get
a
us
bolt-on
execute.
service. Yeah. Again, no worries, no fuss. If you're not technically, we will just do it for you. And for most of you guys, that should be the option you take, right? We'll train you how to use it. Like, it's done. Off your plate, quick win. That's the best way. Okay. If you are just starting up, which I know we've got some guys that are, and you don't have, capital to invest in these things, I get it. Totally understand. We're still here to help you. Yes, your Google reviews are important. Second thing, CRM, which you can again use our CRMs. We'll give you a trial service that'll beat any other CRM, but just collecting contacts, that is the asset that you guys continuously miss if you aren't tracking and keeping. And if you don't have a few bucks for a CRM, put them in a
And
spreadsheet.
just so
And
everyone,
yeah,
CRM is customer relationship management. That's a
that's right.
contact manager, just so we're not talking over
Right.
anybody's head.
So again, if I had to go back to day one, starting this whole thing back over again, CRM, right, would be my first software or system purchase. And the second thing would be Google reviews, and then moving on from there, you can start to stack things. Okay, you can start to get good at things. You can start to do social media. That's free. You can start to post there. Again, you don't have to spend a lot of money to be present. Okay, but
No.
you're going to convert one or the other. Either you're going to spend your time, all right, or you're going to spend your money. And most of the time, none of you guys are expert marketers, and God help you if you're crazy like me and go from being a roofing contractor to a marketing person, right? It's a steep curve, all right? It's a very steep and treacherous curve to learn through trial and error. So find somebody that does it, right? If it's not your cup of tea, get a marketing plan in place and think about changing your mindset from what you do to how you get business, how you generate it, and how you can do that consistently, because that's when you truly start to be in business and get scalability. Make sense?
Yeah, I think that's some pretty good stuff. So again, we do have something. I mean, if someone, again, for folks out there that were where I was a few years ago, again, we were making money, but we had all this stuff going out the back door. We didn't have, again, we had doing $4 million, and I think we had literally like 3 Google reviews, which is insane. And we were doing a fair amount of retail business. It wasn't all commercial.
Mm-hmm.
So, for folks out there that are like, okay, there's value here, and you want to get started with this, we do have a solution, and then they just have to reach out, comment, or send a DM to us, and we can help you.
The other thing too, if you're listening, we have school, so you can reach out to us. That's a free once a week.
Yeah, and you'll invite them in, right?
Yeah, we'll invite them in.
Training. That's right.
We have training in there, like all these things. Again, I want to be able to help every contractor that I possibly can improve at least at least a little bit. So join us in school. If you want to learn more about this stuff, we're going to be running classes on it, training. Again, it's always worth your time to invest in yourself, right? So again, no excuses either. If you're listening to it and you're not in our communities, which you should be, but join our communities, ask the questions. There are no dumb questions here, right? The people you hang around with or talk to, contractors that have already done it, are going to save you decades of time of wasted and the pain and sorrow of not being successful with these things, right?
Yeah. Yes. Good stuff. Well, thanks everybody who joined us today or are going to watch us on replay. We're here every Friday, 3:00 Eastern time, talking about stuff that Jay's used, that I've used in our businesses to, grow and improve and make more money. So we're here to serve. If you have things you want to talk about, we absolutely love to hear about those. So drop a comment if there's something that you have questions about, or again, send a DM. So again, we're back next Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern time. We'll see you next week.
All right.